Hola! Today we're going to continue our exploration of the coordinate plane, and today we're going to be talking about I can find the distance of a segment like part of a line, on the coordinate plane. So we're looking for that distance. Don't forget to put your name and the date. This first part is a complete review from what we did in the last lesson. So can you please pause the video and fill out this table, naming the points and the ordered pairs and the quadrants. So find those missing pieces and then come back to check your work. All right, hopefully you got, when you finished, you saw that it spelled quest going down. A couple things I want to point out. When it's right on an axis, it's not in a quadrant. So for E, we had to say it was on the x-axis. For T, we had to say it was on the y-axis. Oh, I see I made a mistake. I told you yesterday, I'm very much expecting you to have parentheses around those ordered pairs, so make sure you're doing that. A couple other things that I did to help myself find all of these. If it was in a quadrant, I went to that quadrant. So remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And we use Roman numerals most often. I don't know why. So, for example, this first one was in 2, so I went to 2. There's only 1 point. If the ordered pair was given, 5, -4, I went over to my +5, and I went down to -4 right there, and I was able to name the point and the quadrant. How'd you do? So I have to go back to my coordinate plane, and I'm going to find my Q right here and my Q and P and U and S, I think were the ones. So Q and P, one way, if it's going exactly horizontal and vertical, you can just count the points. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit. We could just count our boxes. This is 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so it's exactly 13 units away. But there's another way that you can do that without counting. And I'm going to show you that way as well. So Q was at -7, 5. So I'm going to be using those ordered pairs in just a minute to show you. And then U and S, one way is to just count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When we switch to the other slide and look at the ordered pairs, I want you to remember what this looks like. So we can see from here to the axes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and from P to the axes, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're looking at kind of similar to a number line, except we're looking at, instead of how far away it is from 0, we're looking at how far away it is from the axes. Same with this one, okay? How far away it is from the axes. So like I said, today we are going to be talking about distance on the coordinate plane. So how far apart are points U and S, and then Q and P? All right, so these two right here, 5, 4, and 5, -4. I want you to notice that both of these start by going over a positive 5. So if we're thinking of that coordinate plane, they're both going over the same amount. It's the amount that they're going up or down that's different. And so like I said, think about how far away this point is from that axis. And how far away a number is that absolute value. So we can say the absolute value of 4 is 4. And so that gets us to the axes. And then we have to go to our next number. So the absolute value of -4 is 4. And so they were 8 units apart. Okay, so instead of flipping back, I'm just going to draw that right here. So we both of them went over 5, right? But the first point went up 4, so it was 4 away, and the other point went down 4, so it was 4 away from this axis. So altogether, 4 plus 4 is 8. So you can use that absolute value to help you find. So this one, they both went over to -7 first. So -7's over here somewhere. One went up 5, and one went down to -8. So here, this point, if we're trying to get back to that axis, the -7's are the same, so we don't worry about those. It's the absolute value of 5 would get us to the axes here. We have to add to that the absolute value of -8, because that would give us this part right here. So that gives me 5 plus 8, and we had come up with, just by counting, 13. So that is 13 units away from one another. I'm going to skip the T and the S. How far apart are the points -3,9 and -3,2? So again, think about that. If you have it on an ordered coordinate plane, we'd both be going over -3. But one goes down 9, the other goes up 2. No, I'm sorry, not down 9, up 9. And the other only goes up 2. So for this one, we have to be really careful because they're not on opposite sides. So from 9 to 2 is only 7 units. Since they're not opposite signs, we have to just subtract instead of add. Okay, so how can we determine the distance between 2 points? Well, I would say that we have to take, if they're opposite signs, you find the absolute value and add. And again, the absolute value, I should put in there, of the numbers that are different. If they're same sign, find absolute value and subtract. These rules, pretty important. And you don't really have to, memorize them. You can always sketch out that grid, but we are hoping that by the time you get to the assessment, you will be using that absolute value vocabulary. All right, peace out.